and both have accused the other side of playing politics when it comes to the border. As you know, House Republicans said a bipartisan border bill would be dead on arrival if it reached the House. It failed in the Senate. What do you make of this? Because the border, you mentioned, is a top issue, and right now there's no solve there.
Well, listen, it's not politics on our side. It is a national security issues. And when Democrats telling me that solution is to reform our legal immigration, that is a completely untrue. We need to reform our legal immigration, but we have to secure the border first. And that is something that the responsibility of both parties should be to secure our nation. It shouldn't be political. I said I'm willing to, look how we can have our legal immigration system to serve better our country, and I'm willing to have this discussion. But no, that's not going to resolve now the lawlessness that we created at the border. And we need to make sure that we can put some systems in place to get it under control, because it's going to hurt our country, and we put our country in a big danger by have such an open border. And considering how many wars we're involved with, it's really irresponsible and reckless, for not to deal with this issue. So it's not really politics. I think it would be in their interest to pass some good legislation, because I think American people, I had in-person town halls in my district, for the last months, and this is a number one issues. People from even, I have some more liberal parts of district, not all of them conservative, but no one objected that we need to deal with our border. So it seems like it should be in their interest, because it's an interest of the American people to come together with us. But they don't want to do it, and they just have a different agenda. And I don't think, they want to come together on this issue. I haven't seen it.
What is the solution here? Because the Senate's bipartisan bill is, in fact, bipartisan. It is a compromise, and even the Union for Border Patrol Agents did endorse it. They said this. They called it a, quote, step in the right direction and is far better than the current status quo. So why is nothing better than that bill?
Well, listen, I actually read the bill, and I've been at the border many times, and recently, a few weeks ago, I understand these guys, boys and girls, are so desperate to have something. They're so tired. So I completely understand the level of exhaustion. And this is a lot of very patriotic Americans that go every day and try to protect country, and they feel helpless. And really, I understand their frustration. They're willing to get at least something. And there are a few pieces of the bill that, not bad. But unfortunately, most of this is not going to deal with this issue. And unfortunately, it's also going to make legitimate some illegal activities, which kind of stupid on the asylum processes. We should never even allow people to cross the border, and not through the legal points of entry. We have to look how we can be doing better adjudication and processing and tighten asylum and parole, and let people go through legal points of entry, but how we can have a mechanism where you have other illegal crossing, that Border Patrol has an ability to deny an entry for people that actually, most of them illegitimately claim an asylum or any other things. Actually 40% not even claiming anything at all anymore. I was surprised. When we went to Del Rio sector, I was like, really? Like, what are we adjudicated if they're not claiming anything? I mean, they just go and a lot of people just through the border. So we have to provide it, and unfortunately that bill had so many loopholes and really was not written with an intent, except few parts, including, was some not on fentanyl, not bad part. I think if that bill would be tightened and they would be willing to work with us, and get something closer to HR 2, that would be something maybe could be workable. But it seemed to me like, they felt like that is the best we can get. And that's not how negotiation works. They have to work with us and make it tougher. We made the proposal, they made the proposal. That is ceiling for the Senate. Our proposal is a ceiling for us. But we need to go up and make it tight and not go even more down to get to, convince some of the Democrats on the liberal side too. So I didn't think it was a genuine effort on the Senate to really come to the deal. And it sounds like even a lot of Republicans in the Senate didn't support it.
H.R. 2 doesn't have any Democrat support in the House. And as you know, government is divided right now. We still have almost half of this Congress's term left. So are we going to see any sort of border security between now and then?
Well, listen, now we're moving into very political time. Things are going to be harder and harder. That's why I said, like, when our speaker says we'll do something in March, and, now appropriations in May on FISA authorization, in October on our Farm Bill reauthorization. I'm not that naive. I've been in politics. I still probably crazy enough at the age of 45 to believe in the good things. You have to have a little bit be crazy and naive. If you would be really, smart and wise, you probably would really think, OMG, but I cannot give up. So I have to believe in some goodness and some good things, but I'm realistic too. And it's going to be harder and harder closer we get to the election to get anything done. And everyone will be consumed now with primaries, with generals and everything else. So I hope maybe our last chance, maybe when we go and, and see how impeachment proceedings go and they get in the Senate, and maybe it's going to be not fresh in the Senate when people, they will stand hearings. But now I'm not sure if things are going to be moving. I think it's very important, and I'll try to do what I can to put pressure, because we cannot neglect our border. It is number one national security issue right now for our country.
That's the number one issue when I talk to all members of Congress. That's what they say when they come on here. You did mention it is an election year. Do you think, and Republicans have faced criticism for this, that they don't want to give President Biden a win on immigration during an election year? From where you're sitting, do you think that's a valid complaint?
Oh, no, it's completely untrue, because actually the Republicans put pressure on the Senate to come up with something. We digged in and asked to hold the ground and, hold foreign aid, and before we get something for the border. So if we really didn't want to have anything done, we wouldn't make that as a condition. And a lot of people in the Senate were very reluctant to deal with this issue until, Republicans, many including me, start calling a lot of senators and start putting pressure on them. That's the only time Senate start working on it. But I don't think Senate really took a right approach how to do it. But regardless what it is, Senate can still pass legislation. We pass legislation. They didn't even pass legislation. Whatever the bill they had, they should have passed that bill. So I'm not sure. They talk about bipartisan, and they only had few people on the Republican side willing to vote for it. So I think, if they would pass the bill, we pass the bill, we could reconcile H.R. 2, but they haven't passed anything. They always blame the House into everything, but they passed nothing. And actually, they are the part, the chambers that's set up to deal with long-term policies. That's why they elected every 6 years. So I'm very open-minded to see what they pass, but so far I haven't seen it.